Aloha, my friends. Tell you what, I'm just hanging out here. I'm shamelessly promoting myself for tomorrow. I would like to try a new thing. I've got a computer set up, a couple different videos, and what I would like to do is make myself available for an hour each week, Tuesday, from blank to blank. I'm gonna figure that out tonight, but I think we're gonna be doing it Hawaiian Standard Time, which will probably be around 9 o'clock, which means buffer time 9:15 to like 10:15. Be involved in answering questions. So when I see something pop up in the comment section on the OSB program that we've got going, I'll answer some questions. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be going about my normal day, learning how to play a little bit more each day by sight reading, being able to answer questions while we're doing that, and what I'm hoping to is it'll lead to a little bit of live chat and a couple Q&A things where we get to bounce ideas off of each other. The total goal of this is just to be available for those who have questions about beginning music theory. Right on. What do I do? What do I do? Let's see here. I have already finished this book. All these are available on here if you want to play along, sing along. Let's see. The workshop the other day that we did here, somebody brought up Hana. That's a really groovy tune. Let me think. I think they were playing a baritone ukulele. So let me grab my baritone. What do I do? Do. Hey, how you doing there? Nice to see you. Have any questions? I'm just shamelessly promoting myself right now. Tomorrow I shall be doing a segment which is basically called Ask a Wago. If you have questions about music theory or just beginning stuff and you want to learn a couple things, or you have questions you want to bounce them off of me, please feel free to ask those. Tell me what instrument you're playing, put something clever and classy, and keep it kind of clean in the comment section if you would. And then every Tuesday for a good amount of time, I'm just going to be trying this Hawaiian Standard Time from 9 to like 10:15, 9:15, 10:15. Got a computer, this OSB system, a bunch of little doodads like chordy, which allows me to show you what chords I'm playing. There is this whole website, and I know it's a very small part of the internet, but it does provide a little safe space for people to chit chat about music. And every time that I help somebody do something, I realize that I'm learning something myself. So if you want to enjoy this as well, please share this on your social media, yada yada. My name's Wago, and I would like to help you play music. So if you have questions, throw it in the chat, and I'll be there for you. So what I'm doing is I'm probably just going to do my normal day, go about learning some music, going through the different extremes I have, like the Frank Zappa songbook or some of my ukulele stuff for my students. I have about 30 students right now. And it fluctuates, going up from like 22 to 30 students. I teach 3 days a week, and I'm trying to make the transition to music full time. I hurt myself and realized I don't want to do labor anymore. So if you're in the same kind of boat that I'm in, and you got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes here or there to spend with this channel, do it. If you have questions, put it out there, and I'll answer as many of these questions as I can. And let's see here, what am I doing? I probably would like to do that Kalapana song. So the other day, I host a workshop, a free workshop in Hilo. So if you live in Hilo, come down to Big Island Music on Saturdays from 4:30 to 6. And each month is a different genre. We do stuff like Celtic and folk, rock and roll. We always go to the point where like we're playing different like music from different bands people have never heard of. Some of my favorites are like Garage Mahal or Fish or Grand Funk Railroad, stuff like that. Doesn't always have to be the ones that are always mainstream. And what I was saying about answering questions, it's super cool to answer a question when somebody is trying to learn their new instrument. And just the beginning seemed very overwhelming. I understand that. So what I like to do is answer questions to see if I can reform music theory in its bullet point form, just to break it down into brass tacks and help people get there. Oil up. Yeah, no, I'm feeling a little dry today, if that's what you mean. Oh, you gotta subscribe, thank you. Let's see here. I'm gonna go to just any random website for the Google, and what I'm doing right now on my iPad, I'm gonna be doing this tomorrow, probably on the OSB system, having a side thing, so you can watch what I'm doing, going to the same sites I do, using the same writing programs that I use, and following the process of what it is to be somebody who can play an instrument, but has no clue how to use the technical side. I've got an IT guy, he's super groovy, and I'm hoping that we could get from point A to point B. In the last year or so, we've gone from helping a couple hundred people to helping a couple thousand people, which is great. This channel's had over like 2 million something views. mind-blowing. So what I would like to do is just be able to continue my learning process, boom, 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 and then be able to give that process to other people. So at that workshop, aforementioned, I gave it back to our community by saying, does anybody have a rock and roll song? A couple people picked a couple songs that weren't rock and roll, but we did them anyways. The concept behind it is, anytime you hear anything in any music, you're going to be able to play that song because scales are basically primed off the 7 diatonic notes. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We've heard these over and over and over again. That is actually the solo fet. That's what it's named, because solo fet are just letters inside there. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Each one of these has a different thing. When we're trying to talk about the solo fet incorporating for a chromatic scale, means all 12 notes. It would be something along the lines of C to C sharp, D to D sharp. Our naturally occurring half step is from E to F and B to C, so there really is no sharp. However, in 2 or 3 different keys, 4 to be exact, or hypothetical keys, we can name them E sharp or E sharp double sharp for an F sharp. It's crazy, but the end result is when we learn how to express ourselves in these, we don't really need to. The only thing we want to do is get on the same page as the community by seeing this groovy nonsense as being a triad. 1, 3, 5. What is grape juice? What is vape juice? Oh, vape, like the vapes. Nah, I don't smoke that. Nah, not a smoker. So, yeah, music theory is really fun. What I want to do is break it down for people who have questions. If you have questions here on here, please answer them. So, what we're talking about here is a gent came to the workshop that we host and wanted to learn Kalapana. Now, it's a little bit more in depth because this deals with chords that are a little bit called major sevenths. A triad is based out of 3 notes, a 1, 3, 5, out of that diatonic 7. So when we say in the key of blah, we mean 1, 3, 5. If we're talking about the key of just G major on a baritone ukulele, we would have G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor. We would have F sharp diminished, and then back to G. Now, those are our 7 seniorities, which means, yeah, it's flipping us off? Nah, it's just a middle finger, brother. It's what I use to do things. So when we're playing these kind of things, the seniorities are either major, 1, 3, 5, or 1 flat 3, 5. There's your non-finger finger. When we play the 1 flat 3, 5, we have the exhibition of major as the 1. We would have a major as the 4, and then a major as the 5. Everything else would have a minor tonality, meaning the minor second, A minor. When we switch that fingering from the A minor to our secondary fingering, we can move this up a whole step in bar. And once doing that, it gives us the same chord, which makes these mobile. When we put this on the 2nd fret, we get our minor second, or minor third. Minor 2, minor 3. Remember, 4 and 5 are major, and then we're going to go to our minor 6. Thusly brings up a really cool concept when judging these 7 diatonic seniorities. 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, and 6 is minor. And it has all the same notes as the 1, the root, the tonic, meaning it's the relative minor. When you're jamming out and doing something like in E minor, you can play all the notes in G major, and they work. Change when you move your bottom note because the DGB is what this is kind of tuned to. We'll talk about that in more music theory. Let's see here. We'll definitely have to watch it later. Well, cool. Come back when you have a chance. Otherwise, there's something like 6,000 or 7,000 videos on this channel. I just opened up my past 3-year playlist, so pick a name from somebody that does the same instrument and follow their journey as many times as they had sessions. Some people last for only 6 or 7 sessions. Some people last for a couple years. So if you pick a couple names that have longevity, you might get a full, your money's worth for free. And if anybody is interested in getting lessons, you can find me at BigIslandTinyFootprint.com. As far as, let's see here. Donald J. Plump. That's a great name. So what we want to just do here is have fun with the interwebs Nightbird. Now, I'm not going to play the song, but if you've never heard of the band Kalapana, stop watching me and go check out the band Kalapana. Some of their most famous hits will be ingrained into your memory banks, all right? This one's called Nightbird. Starts off with our C major and then goes to a D minor. So we're going to be playing C major we have a D minor, an E minor, an F major. You could go up a whole step for the G major or just play here. Now, if you're playing a guitar and you're here with me, this is the baritone ukulele. It's the same thing as a guitar, but it does not have the 2 bass strings. So if you can start seeing your guitar as actually being a 4-string instrument where you just every once in a while intertwine your other fingers to make different shapes, what you'll see is something like this C major. When we were to add that A string, the 5th string on a guitar, and play it right there, it gives you your major triad shape. That's our 1 and 3. Aforementioned, that's our 1st division. It's a major 3rd. Because quite literally, when we go through these notes, one note to another is called a half step or a minor 2nd. That minor 2nd can be added. So when we say minor 2nd plus a minor 2nd, the distance betwixt the 2 is called a major 2nd. Minor, major, minor 3rd. My 1 finger or your 1 finger extension finger is going to be the next major 3rd. If we keep going, we would have a perfect 4th, augmented 4th, perfect 5th, augmented 5th, or a minor 6. We would have our minor 7, major 7, and then it would go back to the octave. After doing that, we would see how all of these different notes would have different places for those triads aforementioned. So what we do is we try and learn C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor. And I understand that B diminished is going to be hard for a lot of people, but let me give you something really cool. If you take that same concept of 1, 3, 5 and look at do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, that lending tone or leading tone is the same feeling as the 5 chord made into a dominant 7, or dominant 5. So what this means is, what we're gonna do in the key of C, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, we're simply gonna play a G7, and that gives us the feeling of having the B diminished, because the G7 includes the B, D, F, and it goes right back to it. So for this song, we would have our C major, the D minor 7, G7, to F, C, D minor 7, G7, F, to C. I'll go a little slower. So all the things that we do inside these chord structures, moving back and forth, rely on doing one thing on rhythm and relying on doing one thing in our hands. If you're just starting to play an instrument and you're having a hard time articulating individual notes or moving fluidly, there's a no-brainer that I teach. I call these spider exercises, and they just get your fingies stronger. And the reason why I know these work is because every different guitar structure and every different person who plays strings, no matter if it's cello or not, utilizes the same functionality. We see our frettings, whether having an actual metal fretting or just being straight through, like a cello, violin, as seeing these minor seconds, aforementioned, and then being able to do an extension finger, or changing our position and avoiding bad habits. Well, one of the bad habits that we develop without having instruction from somebody who's just found the right way to fit into their instrument is that we never really think about posture. It's the #1 killer for most people in the beginning playing music. Hey, person number 3, when we play the first finger on the first fret, we can either play it as a flat bar chord, B-A-R-R-E for the French word bar, or we can play a pointy note with our finger right on top of it. And what happens is, it hurts in the beginning. If you're playing steel strings, it will. But these nylon strings, they help us do stuff like hammer-ons and pull-offs. And we do them with different movements. I would probably never do a pull-off like an XL unless it was called for, but there are places like songs like, I don't know, Edgar Wigner Group. Something like that. So when we're going for these like little bitty things of articulation, the reason why our fingers can do it is because we've done maybe countless hours of these. These are what I call spider exercises. If you have an instrument with you right now, try it with me. What I'm doing is I'm moving one finger at a time, concentrating on sitting up straight, taking a deep breath, and then using my pointer finger. And I know that seems weird, but if you're playing an instrument and you've got your guitar pick with you, try and take that guitar pick without putting it out pointy, but flat. When you do this, try doing just downstrokes in the beginning, and this helps you get used to where that string is so you could get individual notation on those different strings. Eventually, your notes will get this fast as quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, start playing like either 16th notes or 8th notes on one note. So you'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and counting 8th notes while playing 16th notes. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and by able to do these processes going up and down the strings, it's actually kind of weird to play on a nylon string one, but this allows us to go and just play the notes just to get them to articulate themselves. The hardest thing to do in the beginning is get to 1 to 4 and not feel like you're moving your fingers everywhere. The idea, put your finger on the back and keep it up straight like you're gonna be picking your nose. Try not to point it that way or else your whole elbow's gonna dig into your crotch, your stomach, and that causes you to bend over, thusly pushing all the air out of your diaphragm, and it doesn't give enough oxygen to your central processing unit, meaning, it's easier to play when you're not looking at your fingers. So if you have a mirror or a phone, put that up and look at your fingers whilst playing. The next thing I teach, and the thing I'm gonna end on today, because this has just been a little thing to get everybody interested in tomorrow, when I'm actually gonna be doing the series called Ask a Wago. Hawaiian Standard Time, it's where I'm at, so I hope at my 9 o'clock, 9:15 to 10:15, you'll join me. Other than that, tomorrow, whatever time zone you're in, ask questions, have them prepared. We can do anything along the lines of circle fifths, how to know what a key signature is, why are there 7 notes in a scale. Being able to go through the process of seeing different questions come in order allows you to then understand stuff like the complexity of why we have cadences in progressions. What that means, we're just going to be floating through these concepts together. So when we play songs like this, we could diagnose what a D major 7 is, call it a triad, give it a major 7th tonality, and you would know that that would characteristically have a C sharp in it. Other than that, the last thing I want to leave you on is this. Out of the chords you saw today, like this D major 7 or the A major 7, try and play them with both of your fingering sets, meaning one finger is going to be on, the next finger is going to take it off. If you're still playing your D major or your A major like this, depending on what instrument you're on, try and play it with a single finger and then leave that open note. On a baritone or guitar, that's an E string. If you're going to be playing on ukulele, that's going to be the A string. It helps out too to do that on mandolin, even though it's a little different feeling because it's smaller. So if you play any of the instruments I do, if you checked out this channel, or if you just dig music or general or fun colors or silly guys with beards, check us out tomorrow. I'm going to be here at 9:15 to 10:15 Hawaiian Standard Time, and I'm going to be fielding questions. Come up with some fun ones. If I can't figure it out, I'll ask my teacher. That's what we do. The taught, teach, and the teach, Taughten. Anyway, I really enjoyed all the questions today. For those of you who couldn't keep it classy, you're not banned. Just this. I've got my students on here. Try and keep it kind of cool. Are there any dying questions with anybody who happens to be on there right now? I'm person number 3. Matt? Let's see here. Donald J. Aw. Right on. Thank you very much. Anywho, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ask away in those questions. Aloha. How do I get out of this? There it is.